Welcome to In 5 Minutes. Now I'll start new topic, file handling. Now it is a totally different kind of topic than what we have done previously with functions, arrays, pointers and all. Here by the name itself we can understand that we'll be discussing the concept of handling files in a program. Now what is file? The file that you know. A text file, word file, image file, that kind of file we are talking about. The disk file, the files stored in computers. So it is possible that using your own C program, we can handle the files. Now handling file stands for we can read data from file, we can write data into the file, we can create a new file, we can delete existing file. So all these operations we can perform using file handling operations. Now to perform all this job, we have built-in functions. So there is a complete set of functions ready using which you can send data to file from your program. You can read data from file into your program, or we can edit the file, we can make a new file and start copying some data into the file, or we can open an existing file, read data from file, display it on screen, or transfer it on network, or transfer it on the other file. So whatever common operation as a computer user you perform with a file data or a file, we can perform using our own program internally. Now when we say the file will be opened for reading or file will be created new, the file is not really visible on a screen. The file will be created in computer's memory. As we handle the array, we cannot see the array. We can see the array only when we output the array on a screen. We can see the contents of the variables, we can see the contents of the strings only when we output the data on a screen. Otherwise, if there is some loop or if there is some calculation processing a string or array or a variable, how it is processing, where it is happening, we cannot see. Same way, all the file handling operations will be done in computer's memory without we can see it. So this was just a summary of what we'll be doing over here in file handling. Now all these things will be clear as we go through different topics of the file handling. We'll be working with some programs practically so that you can see with your eyes how really we'll be working with the files in your computer. Now mostly we'll be dealing with the text files, that is the files which hold only text, no formatting. Word files, Excel files, image files, PageMaker, Photoshop, those kind of files are called as the formatted files or special files. But text files are supposed to be the files which are written in Notepad or any text editor in the operating system. Text files only hold the characters, that is alphabets, numbers, spaces, new lines, tabs, but there is no formatting as such. There is no coloring, alignment, font size, spacing, margins and etc. So that kind of files will be handling. Now let's see how normal program works with variables. As the program starts, we define some variables in your program, we define some arrays, we can define some pointers and all. So as we require, we define some variables in our program. Then there are some statements which are used to process data. Here we can input some values into the variables, into the arrays. We can work with the pointers to handle these arrays, variables and all. But when the program is terminated, all these variables are dead. There is no data with us. As you run this program again there will be new variables defined, new arrays created empty, and pointers will be new created, and then locate the different memory locations. Again my program will start working, work with the inputs, outputs and calculations of the values, but when the program terminates, that data is not there. When we want to retain data with us, we need to handle files. Just you can imagine that can you store a data in a computer without files? Whether it's a biodata, whether it's a song, whether it's a letter to your friend, whether it's a C file or it's a Java file, whether it's an image, everything is some kind of file only. So whenever you want to retain data in computer, we need to process file or we need to store data in a file. Now let's see how a program with file will look like. Program will have normal variables, arrays, pointers as required, but there will be one special variable defined in computer's program which can work with a file. Now using that variable, we can read contents of the file which is already present. We can send some data from our program to the file. We can send data in arrays, we can send data in variables, we can send data which is input from user to the file. It is also possible that we can read data from file. That is, if you want to read some sentences from file, we can read. Now, it is also possible that I want to make my new file. Yes, it is possible we can make a new file, that is empty file, transfer some data from your program into the file and then close the file. When the file is closed, it is saved in disk with some name, let's say A. Now that file will be there in your computer till you really physically delete it. Till that point, that file will be there in memory. So that file you can handle anytime you want. You can handle with your own program or we can handle using operating system. That is, you can go to Windows, go to the folder, open that file and handle it manually also. So it will be a real file created in your machine, and that file you can really access through your program, and data will be permanent. Now that data will not be lost. This program start, create the variables, run and finish, but the file that is created or the file that is edited in a computer will remain in computer as it is. So there is a difference between normal program where variables, arrays, pointers will be created and lost when the program finishes. But here the file created and file handled by your program will remain in your disk till you really physically delete it. So that is what our file handling topic will be. Thank you.